Hello class, today's subject is protein powder and cooking. As always, let's hit it. People ask all the time what protein powder is the best to cook with. My personal opinion and from my experience, it has been 100% whey protein. Casein's a little bit dry. Whey is dry too, but you can just add some liquid to the mixture like a water or coconut milk or whatever you want to add to it, and it'll moisten up the texture of your cake or pancake. Egg I don't like because you're already putting eggs into the mixture. Why put egg powder into the mixture? Also, it's dry and not as sweet, whereas whey is the sweetest of them all, but it also is generally the lower carb of them all, depending on the brand. Some of the things that I like about cooking with protein is that I can maintain my low carb diet because I'm not using dairy or wheats or grains. I get to stay away from WGA, which is a toxic lectin. I get to do a lot of things that I normally wouldn't be able to do with it. Whereas blending proteins, you still get lectins and you still get a ton of other stuff that I don't like. What are some positives of cooking with protein powder? Well, you get your cakes. That's definitely one of them. You get your pancakes. You get your cupcakes. You get your cakes. You get your daily dose of lies. Another thing is that you add protein into your diet, more protein for your diet, and you don't have to intake the full amount of carbs as a normal cake would have. This is my protein that I use, and the reason I use this is because I get it at Costco for $40. It's 6 pounds. That's a pretty good price, I think, for a protein, and you know, it's whey, it's concentrated and isolated, it's not hydrolyzed, so yeah, it's not as good as it could be, but all well. It has 27 grams of protein per serving, and then it has 3 grams of carbs per scoop, and I'll show you. Here's like a scoop of protein for you right there, and compared to my face, you know, it's pretty large. Denaturing of proteins occurs after you start getting above 108 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 41 degrees Celsius. Cooking under this, you won't denature the proteins as well. Like you could bake a cake, say 105 degrees Fahrenheit in your oven, but it's going to take a long time, like maybe an hour or two, I guess. Whereas I usually bake my cakes on 165 degrees, and that takes 10 to 15 minutes. There are two things about denaturing proteins. One makes it easier to digest. The other makes it harder to digest, so it's definitely a win-lose situation. You have the amino acids, which are usually in an alpha helix model, which is just folding over each other, being connected by hydrogen bonds. And it's harder to break down, not that much harder, but whenever proteins are denatured, it turns it into basically a random shape. I call it the squiggly line because it's a random shape. It usually comes out as a squiggly line either way. I mean, that's a random shape all in itself. And a squiggly line is easier to break down because it's already broken down. It's already taken care of. So your body can just be like, oh, amino acids, free serving, let's just pick them off one by one. One common misconception about denaturing proteins is some people think 40 grams of protein denatured would then become something like 35 or 30 grams of protein in actuality. No, not really. 40 grams of protein is always going to be 40 grams of protein unless you vaporize it or something like that. So the negative side effect that comes with denaturing protein are the enzymes. The enzymes basically peel over from heat stroke and they're done, they're dead. You can't really use them. It renders them useless. And what enzymes' job is to do is make the food easier to break down and digestible. And whenever you don't have that, you kind of lose that, obviously. So you have a win-lose. The amino acids are easier to digest, but you don't have the enzymes. One of the ways to compensate for this is taking an enzyme supplement. I would highly recommend doing this. It's not really, there's no negative side effects from doing this, aside from a little hole in your pocket from, spending the money. I am working on getting my own right now. I don't have a specific brand or anything like that to recommend. Just look for enzymes. Okay, so that's all for my video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little bit more about cooking. And if you're paleo like I am, the main reason for avoiding legumes and milk and stuff like that are the complex carbs and the lectins in them. So if you're cooking them, you're destroying the lectins, and since it's, like as I said before, proteins are usually lower carb than milk, the original source. So if you're paleo, you're not really going over the bounds because you're destroying the main risk factors that paleo diet strives to avoid. Next week's video is going to be on dirty bulking versus clean bulking. I hope you guys tune in and definitely subscribe so you can get notices. I come out with a video every Thursday, but you know, I might switch it up every now and again or add a rant in between Thursdays or add a cool video. Tomorrow I'm getting my bumper plate. No, wait. Today I'm going to be getting my bumper plates and I'm going to do a video review on those. I got Rogue HG bumper plates with a Rogue bar, and I'm excited to test those out, and I'm going to videotape it and I'll give you guys my review. So definitely subscribe so you can get to know all the random stuff that I upload. As always, everybody, have a nice day. Go have fun. Go get healthy. Don't go eat cakes unless it's a protein cake.